Breathing?
No.
They're not breathing?
No.
Okay. And who was it we're talking about?
Lexi, she's 3.
Paramedics found Lexi unresponsive and displaying clear signs of death. Her skin was cold and pale with a mottled appearance. Her lips had turned blue and her jaw had already stiffened with rigor mortis. While Louise appeared somewhat distressed, she did not display the expected emotions of a mother in this devastating situation. Louise showed an alarming lack of empathy and disregard for her daughter's passing, as she just chatted away with a man on a dating app the very next day. In her messages, she casually mentioned her daughter's death, in between discussions about tattoos, nude photos, and engaging in paid intercourse. Shockingly, she also accepted 41 friend requests on the Meet Me app, and even agreed to a date with another man later that evening, demonstrating a very disturbing lack of mourning or respect for her very recently deceased child. Her sister Karen confronted Louise about her behavior towards Lexi, but Louise defended herself by saying that she was just trying to be strong for her other daughter, Scarlett, feeling well. Later that evening at 9:50 p.m., Louise left the hotel with Scarlett, who Louise claimed was sleeping and not moving. She stopped to fill up her car with fuel before making another stop at a store. However, by 10:20 p.m., Louise called 111, a non-emergency service line, and she was calling to report that Scarlett was now unwell. When asked if this was an emergency, Louise replied saying no. However, when the operator asked her to check Scarlett's vital signs, Louise informed them that Scarlett wasn't breathing. So how was this not an emergency? She waited in a parking lot until the paramedics arrived at 10:30 p.m., and the paramedics found Scarlett completely cold, obviously already dead, and dead for a while. The autopsy report indicated that Scarlett had been deprived of oxygen, and there were visible marks on her neck. On March 20th, 2018, Louise was finally arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Despite being faced with such serious allegations, though, Louise maintained her innocence and asked the police, "Why would I kill my own kids?" The case eventually went to trial, where the evidence presented against her was overwhelming. The court heard how Louise had deliberately obstructed the airways of both of her daughters, Lexi and Scarlett, all planned and done to clear the way for her personal, intimate life. The autopsies showed that the girls had suffered from prolonged oxygen deprivation, and there was bleeding around their necks, which was consistent with manual strangulation. The evidence was damning, and the jury found Louise guilty on both counts.
I can't with this planet. Like, this is why. This is... Like, those little girls were so cute. There are no words. People will argue it is truly demonic beyond. No.
So Louise arrived home on January 14th with her daughters after spending the day out with Karen, and this is the last video footage of Lexi alive. Later that evening, around 10:30 p.m., she texted a man to complain about Lexi. However, the situation took a drastic turn when Louise called.
I feel like scared, and I feel like this is like, why? There just has to be... How does she have 2 of them and she doesn't even like them? They're so little and they're so much better and more amazing than any stupid man or dollar bill or anything she could buy. Like, these little humans. And
999 just before 1 a.m. on January 15th, and she reported that Lexi was not breathing.